If you are here about to listen to this episode, chances are that you are more than ready to walk that path to become more securely attached. Maybe you are wanting to overcome your anxious attachment patterns, and your 2025 goal is to attract or create and sustain a healthy, secure relationship, both with yourself and another. If this is you, listen to the end because I have something super special and exciting to offer you, an invitation, if you will, for those people who are serious about this journey in 2025. So I'm excited to tell you more, but for now, let's dive into the episode. Welcome to the Relationship Rehab Podcast. I'm Sammy, a certified breakup and relationship coach, attachment specialist, former love addict, and spiritual junkie. This podcast is for you, the hopeless romantic who loves to love, and a safe space for us to explore and heal our attachment trauma, broken hearts, and love addictions. Together, we are on a mission to become the love of our own lives so we can have successful, healthy, secure relationships with others. So if you're ready to create a life and love beyond your wildest desires, you're in the right place. Your journey towards becoming more secure in love and life starts now. Welcome back to another episode on the Relationship Rehab with myself, Sammy, your breakup and relationship coach. And you know what we're all about here, diving into attachment styles and how it impacts us in our dating and our life. And also, of course, our relationship. So if you're new here or you are a well-seasoned listener, welcome, welcome, welcome. And thank you so much for choosing this podcast to support you in your personal and relationship growth. So I hope everybody is well and getting ready for the festive season coming up. We are nearly at the end of November, which is insane if you watch this in real time, of course. And yeah, we're gearing up for Christmas. It's also my birthday. Yes, I am a Capricorn. And also the new year. 2024 is nearly ending, guys, and 2025 is upon us. It's always a bit scary around this time because you're trying to cram in all the things that you wanted to achieve in 2024. And set those goals, of course, for the next year. And like I said in the pre-intro, if you are interested in making a healthy and sustainable, secure relationship your priority in 2025, I have something amazingly special and exciting to tell you at the end. But for now, we are tackling one of the most, if not the most common question I get asked as a coach. And that is, how to overcome anxious attachment style and become securely attached in my relationship. Where the hell do I start? This seems like such a big journey. There's so much to think about, so much to do, and everyone's getting overwhelmed and confused and maybe not even making those steps because they don't know where to start. So I am dedicating this whole episode. Hopefully we won't go on for too long, but I really want to make sure that I give you guys the roadmap to anxious to secure attachment. So this is exciting. And I'm going to talk about the 5 A's that I use for healing attachment trauma. Kind of stolen this from Gabor Mate, incredible man. If you have never heard of him, what? Living under a rock, go Google him. He is fantastic about coming and talking about trauma and emotional intelligence and attachment. So I have kind of stolen this theory from him and tweaked it a little bit to accommodate what I believe is to be true for attachment healing. So we're going to go over those 5 A's that you need to consider and adopt in order to work your way towards what I call an earn secure attachment. So it's a bit different to a developed secure attachment from childhood. Instead, we have earned it. And it also just recognizes that we can still hold on to those superpowers that we have being anxious or avoidant or fearful avoidant. And sometimes it is still there in a very subtle way, the way that I like to see it. And there has been research out there to debate really whether your attachment style at its core really disappears and completely eliminates. My theory and take on this is it doesn't completely and utterly disappear, but what does happen is that we replace it, we reprogram, we reparent ourselves to become more securely attached. But if we are severely triggered in some way, we may feel those ripples of anxiety or avoidance coming back through. But now we have the tools and the skills and the capacity to deal with it, to manage it, to overcome it. And what I mean by that is, for example, sometimes I still feel anxiety coming up in the very subtlest of ways. For example, if I recognize an avoidant, this kind of happened to me the other day. I recognized that I was speaking to an avoidant. I was kind of attracted to this guy, but I knew that he was avoidant. I could feel his energy because my anxious energy was responding to his avoidant energy. Now, this is a good thing. We can empower ourselves with this because now I can make a decision from this interaction, and that is that I can meet this person with so much love and kindness and compassion and generosity, whatever, but I can also not choose to act on these default, automatic, deep-rooted urges that were just flittering under the surface. It wasn't an explosion. It wasn't intense. It was very much in my control. So this is where I stand when it comes to whether we can completely eliminate our anxious or avoidant attachment style. Do we even want to? We have such superpowers that developed securely attached people do not have. So this is my stance on it. I don't want this to be the whole episode, so let's get into it. So yeah, we're also going to define what does it actually mean to look and become secure in our relationships. And I'm going to give you some small practices as we go through the different A's that you can start to practice and introduce into your life, into your journey, into your healing path. All right, so what does it actually mean to become secure? A lot of us have not had that experience growing up. We haven't had the best role models, shall we say, to allow us to observe and experience what it looks like to be in a secure, healthy relationship. For example, for me growing up, I thought communication was arguing. I saw my parents arguing all the time. So I thought, well, that's normal in a relationship. And I saw that then in myself as I became an adult and had my own relationships. The only way that I thought that I could communicate my need or my feeling or my opinion even was to start an argument. I remember my partner being like, what's happening? Can we just not have a nice chat about this? It doesn't need to be heated in any way. So these learned behaviors and patterns can start to come up to the surface depending on our experiences as a childhood, what we have observed and witnessed. And children are like sponges. Whatever we see, we think it's normal. We don't know any different. So it's always a really good exercise to really explore what did you observe as a child and to what you thought love and relationships were. A lot of us have been in this space where we don't know what it looks like. We don't know what it looks like to set healthy boundaries, to have healthy conflict and communication, and be able to have high self-worth and calmness in a relationship and interdependence as well. So a lot of us also have codependent parents who couldn't do anything without each other and depended on each other very much so, if not yourselves as well as children, depended on you to make them feel better, or depend on you to entertain them in some way so their needs are being met. Or we have very independent, emotionally unavailable parents who may have taught us that feeling and expressing emotions are not welcome, and physical touch is not something that we do, and we don't tell each other that we love each other, and we're very much, I'm in my own space, you're in your own energy, and that's how it is. And there's maybe stiff, rigid boundaries in the household of what you can and can't do. So let's explore this together. What does it mean to become secure? And I'm going to keep this super simple. Maybe we'll do another episode all on this, but for now, what it means for me is these two very crucial elements that we need to feel, every individual on this planet will want to feel these two things when they're in relationship with others, and that is safety and freedom. Feeling safe to be yourself, feeling safe that this person is not just going to walk away and ghost you and abandon you and reject you, feeling safe to express your emotions, and feeling safe that you can come to this person and they can come to you and we can have an interaction, a healthy disagreement, and we're not going to start to disrespect each other. Freedom from suffering, freedom from fear, freedom to be yourself again, freedom to be able to sustain your sense of self in your relationship and be a part of a couple. You're not going to completely lose yourself and your identity and self-abandon your needs and go against what you desire. But instead, you are free to be able to express all of this to your partner and be able to be that space for them to do that as well. And free to be able to compromise and engage with each other like a team. Accepting of ebbs and flows in relationships. Sometimes we want our relationships to be so perfect and Instagrammable with no worries, no drama, no issues, and everything's easy and amazing, just like the movies. But that's not reality. The reality is that relationships are full of challenges. They're full of failure. They're full of growth. They are hard and heavy sometimes. And it's whether we have the capacity to move through those ebbs and flows, those expansions. Oh my goodness, relationships don't half expand us and allow us to grow and level us up in our healing and our life in such a way, but they also challenge us and contract us as well. How can we be in those spaces? How can we expand our tolerance to be able to cope and navigate those challenges within ourselves and with this other person as well? So what you need to know about developing this secure attachment within yourself, first and foremost, and then in a relationship with another, is that you are not broken or in need of being fixed. Sometimes we can put securely attached individuals on such a pedestal that, oh my gosh, I must be broken. There must be something wrong with me. We say this to ourselves all the time. And then we look at someone who's calm and confident and able to sustain a healthy relationship as something that should be put on a pedestal. Now, I'm not saying that we can't admire it and inspire to become more of that. Of course, this is why we're all here, right? We can always do that. But we need to make sure that we're not crossing that line where we're putting ourselves down as we're putting them on that pedestal, because there is nothing wrong with you. This is your programming, your survival behavior, survival patterns, coping mechanisms that you had to adopt as a child in order to feel safe and loved and get your needs met. So I'm saying that right off the bat. And like I said, there's this element of not being able to erase your past conditioning and programming. It's there. We need to accept it. We need to go there, but we can rewrite it. We can reprogramming, and we can choose who we become now that we are a fully fledged adult. But in order to do that, we really do need to sit with all of our parts, our anxious parts, our avoidant parts, our fearful parts, and understand them and integrate them into our being so we can become a full, rounded, whole, secure self. And this takes time. I'm speaking to those people right now who desires a quick fix. This isn't a quick fix. Oh gosh, if only I or anybody in the world could find a quick fix where you can move from anxious to secure, that person would be just an absolute wizard and rich. It takes time. It takes time and patience, consistency and commitment to the journey, to yourself, to love, to having the best and most incredible life and relationships that you deserve. It is not a diet, if you will. It's not a magic pill. This is a lifestyle change, a complete commitment. So without further ado, let's dive into this roadmap that I have now created, I've cultivated, I have developed into a method that I apply to all of the people that I work with, and I'm putting together and calling it my roadmap to secure attachment. And I kind of got 3 A's all in one, to be honest. I've got awareness, acknowledgement, and acceptance. Now, when you think about the cycle of change on a psychological perspective, to become aware is really the first step to creating change and healing. Because if we're not aware of what is happening within ourselves or outside of ourselves, how can we make changes? So awareness really is the first stepping stone, being aware of our emotions, being aware of our thoughts, and becoming aware of our coping mechanisms, our habits, and the results that we are getting as a result of the way that we think, the stories we hold about ourselves and the world around us, the emotions that are then activated within our systems and our nervous system, and how we cope. So once we start to become conscious of all of these patternings and behaviors and conditionings, this is when change can start to begin. Now, this is easier said than done because a lot of us have suppressed a lot into our subconscious, and this is why it's really incredible to work with a therapist or a coach that can really see those blind spots and go into the dark cave, if you will, and of your subconscious, and be able to start to unpack some of those subconscious beliefs and fears that you're holding on to that is blocking you from moving into that space of having a healthy relationship. So those that are in this space of cultivating awareness and acknowledgement, what I normally recognize is that we just start to binge on knowledge. We want to know everything about ourselves, about our partner, about our relationship, and we get a little bit obsessed. I know I was in this space where we're watching all the YouTube videos and listening to all the podcasts and scrolling and watching all the TikToks and Instagram reels. We just so excited about being able to understand ourselves more. We have found something that we deeply resonate with that is really supporting us to build up awareness of how we are showing up in our relationships. And this is what attachment styles and theory was able to gift me and a lot of you as well listening. We found attachment styles as a way to truly understand ourselves and others. I see it in my comments like, oh my God, this is me. How have I not heard about this before? This is what I'm feeling and experiencing. And this can be a very aha moment. It can be a very exciting moment. But the type of awareness that I want to talk about in terms of developing a secure attachment style is becoming aware of your emotions, your inner world, being aware of what your body is telling you, because that's where emotions live, and they are messages for us to get curious. Biggest and main skills of secure attachment is curiosity, becoming curious of ourselves and the emotions that we are feeling and the experiences that we are having as a result. So, for example, when I started this work, I was feeling anxiety deeply in my stomach and my chest. I didn't even realize because I've become so used to those sensations. But when I became still and conscious, I could feel them. They were there trying to reach me, trying to send me a message that something is not quite right in my experience, in this relationship, in this life that I'm creating, that I need to be able to sit and feel these emotions. We need to feel to heal. But a lot of us are very afraid to feel, and I get it. It's tough. It's uncomfortable. It's something that we feel like we don't want to feel, these uncomfortable emotions. We just want them to go away. We want to get rid of them. But the more that we set the intention to get rid of them, the more we suppress them back into our body. And this is where chronic illness and disorders will start to happen. It's interesting, a few of my clients, including myself, we struggle with rheumatoid arthritis or acne on our skin or missed periods. Our reproductive system starts to get affected. Our digestive system starts to get affected. IBS, things to do with our period, like endometriosis. I definitely didn't say that right. That thing will start to occur. And it's because we're not listening to our bodies. It's because we're not listening to the emotions that want to come up to the surface and be felt and be released. And we're just shoving them back down as if we're sweeping dust under a rug. It's just piling more and more and more. And then we start to have this leaky energy that comes as a form of anxiety in our relationships, or avoiding conflict, and feeling super stressed and overwhelmed when we're trying to do something that feels scary. And the inner critic then comes out, and the self-doubt. So I'd love to be able to invite you to sit still in the quiet with your bodies, with your emotions, and start to address and understand the way that your nervous system is wired. This is where we always begin in all of my programs, is understanding your nervous system, because this is what's really in control. We are emotional beings. Whether you identify as someone who's an emotional or not, everyone, we are driven by our emotions. The more that we can understand them and manage them, the more in control we're going to feel in our lives and our relationships. And I love the way that the Buddhist people do this. As a lot of you know, I live in Thailand. I've been here for nearly a decade now, and I've lived with a Thai family. So I've really observed the way that they move through their emotional experiences, and that is with mindfulness. They are not afraid to become more mindful of what they're feeling, and they detach from them. So this is another skill to start to develop on our journey to secure attachment, is detachment. Detaching our sense of self from our internal and external experiences. It's very interesting to observe that they do not get attached to something that is happening in their lives. They don't then fall into this victimhood of, oh my gosh, this is happening again. Woe is me. What's wrong with me? Instead, they observe, okay, this is happening outside of me. It's not very desirable. It's very uncomfortable. This is the reaction that I am getting, but this is not who I am. This is not who I am. And they focus on the emotion being something separate from them. It's very incredible, actually, how they do that. And through the act of meditation, they become aware of their thoughts as well, detaching from the thought patterns that they're having and the narratives that they're holding, knowing that it is just that, thoughts and narratives. So awareness really is a complete self-exploration phase. If you are here, that is your intention and focus, is just to build up a lot of awareness of your internal and external world with curiosity and detachment. Now, the third A within this first A is acceptance. Moving into a state of acceptance. Being accepting of where you are currently at. How can we cultivate change in our lives and our relationships if we cannot accept our current experiences and our current space that we are in? So this is about really meeting ourselves where we are and accepting what is. It's neither good nor bad. It's neither positive nor negative. It just is. It is our experience. And the more that we can own it, the more empowered we feel. If we can stand up and be like, I have an anxious attachment style and I am working on becoming more securely attached. How empowering does that feel? We are now giving ourselves permission to understand ourselves more and work towards change. But it does start with accepting. A lot of us really struggle with accepting. No, I cannot. I do not accept this reality. And I get it. I get where it's coming from, that the more that we refuse to accept what's happening, we can move towards something different. But this can cause resistance. This can cause resistance, and this can cause us to push away those different parts that are crying out for our attention. The more that we can accept and hold space for all our different parts and allow them to be expressed and to be observed by ourselves, the more likely they will move through and be released, and then we can move towards change in a calm and positive manner, as opposed to a resistance, negative, forceful, fearful manner. So in this space, when we are cultivating more self-acceptance, compassion and patience is key. To be able to be more compassionate to yourself and patient, because it takes time, like I said, And this will allow you, developing these skills will allow you to get over that hurdle of fully accepting who you are, because we are good, we are whole, and we are worthy of being seen, heard, and understood by ourselves and by others. So, a good example of this might be saying something like checking in with yourself. So, this is your practice. If you're here, is emotional check ins every morning. It doesn't need to be a long time, 2 minutes. Asking yourself this question: how am I feeling today? And just allowing, accepting anything that comes up. And it could be, today I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling frustrated and unsettled about the lack of control that I'm having right now in my life, in my relationship. However, despite this anxiety that I'm feeling, it is not a reflection of who I am. It is an experience that I am having. I am still a person worthy of love and compassion. Doesn't that feel good? This honesty and acknowledgement of yourself and your experiences. And it will become easier in time with practice. Okay, the second A we are diving into is accountability. Accountability. This means pretty much taking responsibility for ourselves, our actions, our emotions, our experiences, and how they're impacting us and others. Accountability in relationships is the practice of claiming responsibility for your actions and how they're affecting others, not going into that default defense mechanism that has kept us safe in the past, but being able to remain calm, grounded, and open to hearing someone's experience. If we have hurt them in some way with something that we have said or something that we have done, we are able to remain open and calm in hearing their experience, being able to take accountability for the behavior that has caused them hurt, being able to see it for ourselves, even thank them for this feedback, because now we are aware of it. Going back to that awareness, we are aware of it now, and we can start to make those changes. For example, some of us, myself included, guilty as charged, has done a not so great thing and checked our partner's phone. And we're doing this because we're feeling insecure in the relationship. We might be feeling a bit jealous. We might be needing some reassurance, and we don't know how to ask our partner for that, or maybe we don't believe them for some reason. And next thing we know, our thoughts, our emotions, the stories has led us to the action of checking their phone. Now, this is not okay. We're invading their privacy. We're going behind their back. We may even lie to them about doing it, and then they catch us out. And now it's up to us how we repair and deal with this. Do we go into default defense and go into making it about us and how hurt we are, and turning the tables and deflecting and projecting onto them? So now it's on them to fix it or repair solely by themselves? Or are we able to remain calm and grounded? Now, like I said, it takes practice, it takes time, and own up to it and take responsibility and accountability. You know what? I did do that. And I can recognize, I can see that that's not okay. I understand that I invaded your privacy, that I hurt you. And I'm deeply sorry for that. And this is what I'm going to do to rectify my behavior, to repair the distrust that I have now caused between us, and come up with some solutions. I'm going to really sit with what has caused me to do this behavior. I'm going to start to understand and become aware of the triggers and the fears that I'm holding. So we're taking accountability and responsibility, and we're not putting it on them to do it for us. So accountability means being observant of our behavior, of someone else's behavior, and being honest. Honesty and being respectful to one another as well. And you can see this in other people as well. If they are taking accountability for their actions and responses and behavior. Now, a lot of people struggle with this stage, myself included. I still feel very uncomfortable because maybe we're still dealing with a lot of fears and wounds around not being good enough, fear of rejection, abandonment, not being a good person, not being perfect. And we want to portray that we are. And then when we get called up on our shit, Like, oh my God, this person is seeing a side of me that I'm trying to keep repressed and suppressed. I don't like to look at it. It is so uncomfortable. But I promise you, the more vulnerable that we can be with ourselves and our relationships, the more connected and intimate we will be on a deep, deep level, not the superficial surface level stuff, but deeply connected. If we can be vulnerable and own up to our mistakes and apologize, we will then start to learn and realize with the right partner, with a secure partner, that it's not going to lead to fighting or rejection or abandonment, but it actually leads to more connection because they are now appreciating that we're taking accountability for ourselves, coming up with solutions so it doesn't happen again. We're owning up to our shit. And that is so respectful for someone who is on the secure spectrum. They're going to see that, and you are going to be even more connected. And then we can start to embrace that feedback. We're finding out all these different things about ourselves. And if we're in a space where we can embrace that, we can start to change that and become more healthy and secure within ourselves as well. So relationships are beautiful like that. They are mirrors, mirroring back to us those parts, those areas of improvement that we can give our attention to. It is so thrilling and exciting, but very scary at the same time. And that's why we really do need to work with our nervous system to be able to hold all of this, because this is work, guys. This is work. And you don't have to do it alone, like you said. Always look for community and a support system to help guide you through all of this. So the skills to develop here is honesty and vulnerability. And you can start with yourself. Start with taking accountability with yourself. If doing it with others feels far too scary at the moment, start doing it with yourself. Start taking responsibility for your own emotions and experiences and life. And start to notice what it feels like to be in that state of accountability and honesty, self-honesty and vulnerability. Okay, the third A, again, it's 2 A's in one. Lucky you, you're getting all the A's today. And that is agency and autonomy, your empowered and independent state of being. Now, what do these words mean? Well, agency refers to the sense of control that we have over ourselves and our lives, having a sense of agency, believing that we have direct influence and capability to handle whatever we're engaged with. We're feeling empowered in our own skills and capabilities. Autonomy is our ability to choose for ourselves, to be able to make decisions, be able to trust ourselves. We have autonomy over our decisions and our lives. So this means being able to have space to make your own choices and decisions, having that space to set boundaries for yourself and for others, and feeling like you have your own life, that you feel free in your life, that it's not being controlled or manipulated or influenced by anyone else, that you're not living up to anyone else's expectations or needs or choices for that matter, that you have full independence over yourself. And you know that you are worthy of being respected, loved, and supported by the people around you. So it's having a sense of self-reliance on yourself, being able to meet your own needs, and that confidence. Self-trust as well comes into play here. So if we do not have agency or autonomy over our own lives, this is what it looks like. It looks like being told what to do. And we may have these experiences in our childhood. And that's why we are falling into these patterns in our relationships. If we're having someone who is telling us what to do and we're just going along with it, we don't feel like we are able or deserving of setting a boundary or expressing a decision or an opinion or a desire or a need. We feel very restricted and we don't feel like we have the agency or autonomy to be able to do that. We have someone who's making choices for us. They are deciding for us what we do, either with our lives on a macro level or what we eat on a micro level for dinner every day. And this is what promotes codependency. I've been here myself where I had someone who really took charge of my life in different areas, not in all areas, I will be honest, but in some areas, especially the relationship realm, he took charge of everything. And this is what promoted codependency because I didn't know how to be without him. And if someone said to me, "Oh, do you want to go out Friday night, get a drink, go do this, go do that?" I couldn't say yes or no without checking in with my partner. Let me check with him first to make sure that he hasn't planned anything for us. And then I would almost go to him and ask permission. Is it okay if I go out with so on Friday night? And it was up to him then to say yes or no. And that was what the result was. If he said no, I wasn't going out. And this was what it means to have a lack of autonomy over your life. And it can also be the other way as well. It can lead us into becoming a protector, taking that role up in our lives, where we are now controlling other people and our partner, and we're removing their agency and autonomy to be able to make a decision. This could look like, I don't want you going out with the boys tonight because I feel jealous, because I feel insecure. Therefore, I'm removing your sense of autonomy to say that this is what you want to do, and this is what you need in order to have a balanced life. You need your space, but I'm taking that away from you. And I'm protecting myself, or I could be protecting that person. Like when we mother our partners, this is called emasculation, where we don't allow our partner to do something because we're afraid that they're going to hurt themselves. No, you cannot go and skydive because I'm afraid that you might die. This is an extreme example, but that's what it could be. And now we're removing that from them because we want to feel more safe and comfortable in ourselves, rather than getting curious and looking at, okay, why is it triggering me so much that my partner wants to go and skydive? Instead, I want you to go along with what makes me comfortable. We may be shaming ourselves or being shamed for having boundaries and opinion. Again, back to childhood, this could have happened. So now we feel uncomfortable doing this in our relationship. And whenever we set a boundary, we feel bad. Whenever we express opinion, we feel bad. So we're almost removing our own sense of agency from ourselves. So all autonomy really is simply your independent thoughts and actions and decisions, or the boundaries that make you you. Developing your personal boundaries and knowing yourself honestly is the way that you can move through this journey of developing autonomy. And this is where you can start a practice. You just ask yourself on a daily basis, is this something I really want? Do I really want to say yes to this thing? Or is this something someone else wants for me? Am I living up to someone else's expectations? Am I following the shoulds? Someone told me that I should do it this way. Am I only doing it this way because someone said that I should? Am I only doing this to keep up appearances? Am I buying this handbag and this brand because my friend did and I think that I should? Notice how many times you use the word should. That is going to give you a clue and an indicator that you are following someone else's path or opinion or decision over your own. Am I doing this to make someone else happy, or am I doing this to make me happy? You can start to ask yourself these curiosity-provoking questions to start to develop where you're at in terms of your sense of agency and autonomy over your life. And if you start to realize, oh, I'm really following the shoulds, I'm really doing things to please others and not myself, you can start small. What is something that I can do that I can start to please myself? What brings me joy? What can I do to make me happy? How can I change this specific thing where I now feel like I'm doing it for me and I'm not doing it for anyone else? And this comes with establishing those clear boundaries of who we are and what we value. Knowing our values makes us feel more in control of our lives and therefore the relationship. It tunes us into our own priorities and not anyone else's, and our own standards that we have for our lives and not anyone else's. All right, the fourth A is authenticity, being your real, genuine self. How many of us can really say that we are our full, 100% real and genuine self in our relationship? Ask yourself that question, because authentic relationships really begin when we can reveal our true self to another person. We can be as silly and as emotional and as goofy and as ourselves as we want to be. And that person is seeing ourselves for who we are. I have a specific moment where this started to come in one of my relationships that I had with someone. And I noticed when I was with this man, I was hiding parts of myself for multiple reasons. But then one night, we went out and we were dancing, and it was this type of music, and I love to dance, and this type of music really allows me to start to be in my fullest authentic expression. And he had never seen me in that space before, and I just let loose. I danced as if no one was watching, and I didn't care, because I just was really feeling into the music. And in that moment, I can safely say I was my authentic self, leaping and giggling and twirling and swirling. And he observed me through it all. And he said to me afterwards, wow, what I just witnessed was incredible, was beautiful. I want you to show more of yourself in that way. And I remember feeling flutters of like, oh my gosh, what is he going to think of me? What is he going to say about me? We're always so afraid of what other people are going to think about us, that if we are going to show our true authentic selves and these parts that we have been hiding for so long, we are going to be rejected and abandoned in some way. And that really taught me that there are people out there that love me truly and deeply and authentically for myself, for being me. So being genuine and vulnerable in our communication, our interactions, our relationships can really start to filter out who is for us and who is not for us. Because if you show up authentically yourself and this person decides for some reason that you are not their person, that is okay. Yes, great. Bye. I don't want to be anyone but myself around people. And if I need to change parts of myself to make you feel comfortable, then yeah, maybe we are not each other's people. Maybe we're not in the same vibe. And that's okay. It doesn't mean anything about me or you. It's not a reflection of our character. It's just what is. We are not going to please everyone. It's impossible if we do that. And we end up displeasing ourselves as a result as well. So a way to really start to observe if you have a lack of authenticity in your life and relationships is if you observe that you are pretending to be something that you're not. If you are pretending to be something different other than yourself to make someone else feel comfortable or to keep them in a relationship with you. Or you're pretending to like something so they like you more. It's all coming back to this pleasing behavior. Or you're pretending you're suppressing what you really want to say, how you really feel, because you're afraid of this person not liking what they hear or see and therefore leaving you. It all comes back to that abandonment wound. You're hiding those parts of yourself and you're not acting in alignment with your values. You're doing things to please others. So this is how you can identify this. And how you can start to practice more authenticity is explore those authenticity blocks first and foremost. If you have an abandonment wound, a rejection wound, if you believe that you are a bad person because of these parts, really taking the time to explore what is blocking your authenticity from coming through. Start to release expectations of yourself. Oh my goodness, guys, so important. If we have grown up as a child having certain expectations and standards put on ourselves by our parents, teachers, friends, whatever, we're likely carrying that with us right now. Observe what those expectations are and start to release them one by one. Practice surrender. You know what? I'm going to really work on being my full, whole self, the way that I want to show up. So this is important as well. Noticing, when you have a certain trait, it's not about showing all the different traits that you have. If you want to change a specific personality trait, great, work on that. But if you want to be able to keep this personality trait, sensitivity is a massive one. A lot of us are shaming ourselves for our sensitivity, but my God, is it a superpower? If we can practice surrendering to our sensitivity, knowing that the people who truly love us and deserve to be in our lives is going to embrace our sensitivity, is going to work with us with our sensitivity, because we are now taking accountability for it, we're owning it, and we're able to manage our sensitivity in a way where we're making it a superpower, and people that are able to receive that are going to benefit from it. And we're choosing love over fear with ourselves and with others. I want to love myself fully in my sensitivity. I am no longer fearing that my sensitivity is going to chase people away. And that's a very exciting place to be. So the skills to develop, if authenticity is where you're at, is resilience, because it's going to take some resilience. People are maybe not going to stay in your life. They're going to choose to not be in your life anymore, and that's okay. It is a filtering system. It's scary, I know. Practice is required here. Resilience also required, and surrender, really surrendering and understanding yourself more, of who you truly are in your authentic self. And then the last A is assertion. Assertion is a statement of being. It's not something we do, it is who we are. It is knowing our intrinsic right to be here on planet Earth. We matter, we have meaning, we have purpose, we deserve to think and feel and love and be loved. So empowering to be able to develop a state of assertion, that state of being. And it's usually paired with the idea of someone speaking up for themselves, being confident. I understand who I am. I know what I stand for, my values, my opinions, and what I believe to be true. But I'm also open to inviting and embracing your state of assertion and what you believe to be true for you and what you stand for. And this is how we become even more connected with each other, when we can align with these values and morals and states of being and opinions that we have, and start to repel those people that are not in alignment with who we are. So how to identify that you have a lack of assertion in your life is notice if you're always apologizing. I hear it all the time from clients, from people around me. Sorry, but can I just say, oh, sorry, but I just need to express that there's always sorry. You're always following with sorry, or you're ending with sorry. If like it happened this morning with a client where I said, oh, she needed to go to the bathroom. She needed to go to the bathroom. And I said, yep, no problem. Take your time. And before she went, she said, sorry. No, don't be sorry. You need to go to the bathroom. So a state of assertion would be, I need to go to the bathroom. I need to meet my need to go to the bathroom. I'm not sorry for that. I'm not apologizing. I'm standing confident in the fact that I am meeting my own need now. It's different if you have kept someone waiting, for example. Yes, that may deserve an apology if you said that you were going to meet at 3 o'clock and you rock up at 3:15. Fair enough. I'm sorry to keep you waiting. I needed to use the bathroom, for example. So notice how and why and where you are apologizing, and just become aware. Just start to address that. People pleasing, also not having a lack of assertion, is following other people's opinions and justifying them as well, chasing, begging, and pleading with other people, because we have come away from knowing our intrinsic worth and value, and instead we're chasing it outside of us. This could be with a partner, this could be with clients, this could be our career, this could be with fitness, where we're constantly in the gym, we're constantly chasing something outside of us to validate, to allow us to see our worth and our purpose and our meaning being here on planet Earth, because we have not yet felt that state of assertion and knowing that we We deserve to feel all these things regardless of what we have in our life. So to start developing a state of assertion, would start with knowing what you want. Get crystal clear on your values, what you stand for, what you want to attract into your life, what type of partner is right for you, what type of friends are right for you, what type of career is right for you. This is all work in progress, I'm sure, but starting this journey of really understanding yourself and knowing what you want, and then living in alignment with that, making decisions and choices and having priorities that are moving towards what you want to call in and attract and be in this world. Taking up that space. I deserve to stand up here and deliver a speech on this particular topic because I deserve to take up space. I'm knowledgeable, I'm worthy, I am deserving of being seen and heard in this space. And then communicating with that confidence and sense of direction and respect as well. So it's interesting when you observe someone with such a high level of assertion. It's not about overpowering people. It's about knowing their own power. We know these people, right? I used to be so in awe of them. I still am. I'm in awe of these people. Because I'm going to be honest, I'm not 100% there myself. I'm working on this. This is where I'm at. I'm working on my state of assertion. I am very assertive in some ways, but in some ways I am not. And when I see someone in their state of assertion, it's like, whoo, they're in their power. People are just energetically attracted to these people because they have confidence and they know themselves and they know what they want and they're confident in getting that. So the skills to develop here really are self-respect and communication, taking up that space. Start with the self-respect. Start with knowing what you want. Really getting yourself in alignment with your values. Do a values exercise if you don't know what they are. And then start to do a bit of a life inventory. Am I living my life in the way that I want to live my life? It's all blending into each other, really. All these different A's, they're all blending into each other. So these are the 5+ skills and focuses that you can start to work towards to be able to get to that secure attachment. Now, we covered a lot in this podcast episode. I get it. You might be feeling a little bit overwhelmed. That's okay. Go back and listen and just pick one. Pick one, and I recommend starting with awareness if you are just starting on your journey, or if you feel like you have graduated from that space, you are very aware and conscious of your thoughts, behaviors, and reactions and responses and results. Move into the next one. Almost see this like a roadmap where you either begin with awareness or you move into the second one, which is accountability, working on taking accountability and responsibility for yourself and your life and your results, and go from there. So choose one, choose a practice, start small, don't overwhelm your system, and in time, with patience and practice and consistency and commitment, you will, I promise you, you will be in that space, you will arrive in that space of secure attachment. Now, if you are in a state of overwhelm, don't worry. If you feel like you want to be able to have support on this journey towards secure attachment, and whether you believe you can do it with yourself or not, having support and guidance is always so key to healing. I have had my fair share of it myself, and I see that transformation can truly happen when we just come together as a community. So I have a special invitation for those people who do want that support and guidance on their journey, and they want to be able to have their hand held in a way and have this roadmap all clearly defined for them, and they're serious about doing this journey so they can be more securely attached in 2025, attract, create, and sustain that healthy, secure, loving relationship that you are worthy of and that you deserve. I would love to invite you to explore a new offering that I have coming at the moment that is very much in the beta stage. I'm looking for a very small amount of people. It's going to be a very intimate setting of people who are serious about doing this and want to give themselves the gift of going through a self-paced online digital course. And this course is called Securely Attached. And this is the journey, this is the work that I take all of my clients in all of my programs on to be able to get them from anxious to secure. I've condensed it into a 9-module curriculum. So not only will you get lifetime access to this course as it's being developed and improved, but you're also going to get a 12-week coaching package where every week you can access group coaching calls with one another and be able to ask questions and receive on-the-spot coaching with anything that you are finding difficult to move through. So if you are someone who loves courses, you really thrive and can have that self-motivation to do the work and gain the knowledge and awareness that you need and be able to be coached, being coachable and open to trying out new modalities to be able to get yourself to that secure attachment, and you want to work closely with me in developing this course to be the best anxious attachment healing journey on the internet, I would love to invite you to explore this offer more. Like I said, it's going to be a very small group, so it really is invitation only, but you can express your desire to be considered for this beta program. And as a thank you as well, you will get this for a very heavy discount, more than 50% off. And you will also get bonuses such as a one-on-one call with me and the chance to offer feedback and be able to have a hand in creating this course with me as well. So if that interests you at all, I would love to invite you to just send me a DM. You can do this over on Instagram or on my website. All the links that you need are in the show notes below. You can go to sammyreedcoaching.com and there will be a contact page on there as well, or Instagram. You can reach out to me using either one of those 2 options, and you can just drop the word course, or you can just send a message saying that you listen to this podcast and you're super interested and we can have a chat. All right, my love. So thank you so much for getting to the end of this episode. I can tell that you are serious about your journey just from reaching the end of this episode, and I hope that it has really supported you in your journey to really outline where you're currently at, where your focus needs to be. And if you need anything at all, any support, or you just want to let me know what you thought about this episode, I would love to hear it. You can send me a DM on Instagram or leave me a comment on the podcast platform that you're listening to. I see them all. So thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you on the next episode. Thank you so much for joining me on the Relationship Rehab podcast. I hope that this episode has supported you in healing, growing, and evolving out of insecure attachment and unhealthy relationship patterns and into safe, authentic love with yourself and others. If you enjoyed the episode, it would mean the absolute world to me if you would just take a second to rate and review this podcast. Every rating and review from you guys counts, as it really helps this podcast to grow so it can reach more people who need to hear this content. And don't forget to connect with me on social media. Take a screenshot of this podcast episode, share it on your IG stories, and tag me at the.relationship.rehab with your biggest takeaway from the episode. I really do love reading them. See you back here next week for another episode on the Relationship Rehab podcast.